Okay, so this movie is a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Of 2, this Part 2 is going to come in the summer. And this is directed by David Yates, who has been doing the Harry Potter series since the 5th one, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and now these last 2. So he's kind of really got to make this series his own and really make some stylistic decisions that stick. Whereas some of the other movies, the first 2 being done by Christopher Columbus and then Alfonso Cuarón doing the 3rd one and Mike Newell doing the 4th one, there was a growth that was happening towards this darker side that they hinted at. And now it's just plunged into the depths of depression and despair and darkness. Story-wise, what's happening as it leaves off on the other one, the Hogwarts has been disbanded. Dumbledore's dead. Sorry, spoiler alert. And they're trying to find all the Horcruxes and destroy them. What a Horcrux is the parts of Voldemort's soul that he is embedded into certain items to keep him alive or something to that effect.
How to cheat death.
Yeah, you read the book. There's that kind of leads to my first complaint. There's a lot to like about this movie. The cinematography is great. It's getting really, really artful and beautiful, and there's lots of great sweeping shots of these flatlands that they're walking through and stuff like that. And almost kind of reminds me of some of the type of scope that was in the Lord of the Rings movies that you hate with bloody despair and passion. But I think this movie's 2.5 hours long, and this is just part 1 of 2. And I feel like this movie was about a half an hour to 40 minutes too long. Now, there was a lot of... I know that the book purists are going to love it because every single word, every single paragraph is probably in there, whether it's entertaining as cinematically or not. And there was a lot of scenes about every 15 minutes there would be about a 5-minute, 3-minute scene where it's like, is this necessary at all for the story? Just them kind of sitting there talking about nothing that really advanced the plot. And when you add up that 40 minutes in between otherwise really good material, the movie just feels like it's just creaking along. Most movies don't need to be 2.5 hours long, and this one I kind of have that opinion about. But it is, like I said, it's gorgeously shot. The acting is very good. We have a few new characters now. One played by Bill Nighy, who is the head of the Ministry of Magic, and Rhys Ifans plays Luna Lovegood's father. He does a really kind of good job too. He always kind of plays a kooky character. He can
play eccentric well.
Yeah. And I liked it as a whole, but I felt like the pacing is just really too slow in the middle. So I have to give it a B-, and I hope that the second half is going to cut to the chase. We'll see some more Horcruxes. We'll see some more spells and magic and evil. Because I love the evil, and this one is definitely probably the most evil so far.
Nice. Well, you need to read the books because you will be disappointed. But a little bit of difference of opinion on the useless shots, as you call them. A huge chunk of the first half of the book is actually them just on the run in the woods with a lot of just planning and forth. So they actually skip huge chunks of planning in it, which I'm glad they did because it would be very pointless. So yes,
so they actually streamlined
this is the streamlined version. No matter how drawn out it feels, it's a streamlined version because they have. Yeah, I mean the part where they find out where the Horcrux is and getting into the Ministry of Magic, that's like 18 chapters.
Yeah, that was a cool little plot point. I liked where the story was going, but I felt there were times where it felt like this. I didn't know where it was going, and I felt like the story didn't know where it was going. Obviously, it does because it's been pre-written in the book. But I was just like, okay, what's going to happen in this movie now? And then it happens. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this movie, I mean, because the previews are so epic that I was amped for this movie. And
me too.
I watched it, and I'm still amped because I think it did its job very successfully. I don't know. After we're at 7 movies with these kids.
Yeah,
they're like family now.
Yeah, basically. You're totally invested now.
I mean, it's you can't do anything but like when main characters were dying off. I was like almost shedding tears, and God, yeah,
It gets real.
Gets real.
It gets real.
Very emotional. Lots of good. They have lots of good fun in it. I mean,
I don't know how much fun they're having.
I mean, yeah, it's still ridiculously depressing.
There's one moment where they just to pull themselves out of their own despair decide to dance to a Nick Cave song.
Yeah, that one was just totally. That came out of
That was one of those useless scenes I was talking about. But it was just like, oh my lord, this is like. They're so depressed, and they know the audience is so depressed that they have to just put in this glimpse, this glimmer of hope in the middle of this.
But yeah, no, I definitely like where this Harry Potter stuff is going. The last three have been so amazing. So
David
better.
Yates has so far, I think, been the most consistent director.
Yeah, and way better than Christopher Columbus. Ugh.
Yeah, it's so weird to think of the first movie, to think of Sorcerer's Stone, and if you were to watch that and then skip all the intermediary movies and go watch Deathly Hallows Part 1, it is so starkly black and white difference of how much darker and serious everything's gotten. I would almost say this is not a kid's movie. I mean, there are children in it, some of which are dying or being tortured or having their arms torn off.
That one.
And but I would say I wouldn't totally suggest bringing someone under 7 years old to this movie. It's not only is it kind of long and tedious, so kids might shuffle in their seats in certain scenes, have a hard time. I mean, I heard some of that going on at my screening. But I think there's also some genuinely scary stuff, and this is basically a horror movie for kids or preteens.
And an almost sex scene. That got
weird.
That was weird. That was weird. So anyway,
what grade did you give now? First of all,
A minus.
A minus. Okay, B minus, A minus.
Sweet. All right. So that's our show today. 1 year anniversary done and completed.
Thanks for joining the show, or thanks for joining us with the show. We have 154 subscribers, something like that, on YouTube. Maybe up to 160 now. So thanks you, and
continue to rate and subscribe.